Just as so many of us have predicted for months and years, Disney's Snow White, starring Rachel Zegler in a modern retelling of the classic story, has been a miserable failure. It bombed its opening weekend at the box office and is on pace to be the biggest Disney live-action flop that they've ever seen. And for a movie that they spent well over $300 million on, that needed at least, at a bare minimum, even if you take every positive assumption you could, somewhere between $800 million and possibly up to $1 billion at the box office to break even, might struggle to get to $300 million. And of course, the audience reviews aren't looking too great for Rachel either, sitting at a 1.6 out of 10 on IMDb. The Rotten Tomatoes all-audience score is terrible. Pretty much anywhere you can review something, it's not looking good for this movie. And as much drama as there was before the release of this movie, we've certainly had some in the aftermath as well. A big piece detailing a bunch of things that went down during the production and promotion of this movie, including controversy surrounding Rachel Zegler, including how she couldn't keep her mouth shut and kept inserting politics into the promotion of her movie. From essentially telling Donald Trump supporters that she doesn't want them coming to the movie that she's putting out in theaters, namely Snow White, to attaching inherently political messages directly to the promotion of the movie itself. Inside Disney's Snow White fiasco, death threats, beefed up security, and a social media guru for Rachel Zegler. By the way, those threats and the beefed up security wasn't for Rachel Zegler. It was for her co-star, Gal Gadot, after Rachel Zegler continued to put out these messages. And predictably, just as we've seen time after time in the months and years leading up to this disastrous release, the very same members of the mainstream media who told us, don't listen to those people, this is going to be a smash hit, it's going to do great at the box office. Well, they're now defending Rachel Zegler. Rachel Zegler is innocent. Why the internet is so incredibly wrong about one of our most promising actors over on Slash Film. Paul Tassi at Forbes, a bad movie, not Rachel Zegler, is to blame for Snow White bombing. Now, I think there's plenty of blame to go around, and Disney deserves a lot of it. Even if Rachel Zegler had been the perfect little star and said all the right things, done all the right things, not stuck her foot in her mouth so many fucking times over the past few years, even if she had done all that, there's no doubt this movie would have done way better at the box office opening weekend. However, it still is a horrific movie that undermines the original's message, where they decided not to cast actual dwarves, but instead go with the CGI abominations. It would still have a terrible message in it, and ultimately it would still be pretty poorly acted by so many people around. So regardless of what her actions were outside, I do think this movie still would have been a failure. The reason we're talking about it as one of the biggest disasters we've ever seen is directly because of Rachel Zegler. You can't excuse that away. You can't pretend like that's not reality, because it absolutely is. And now, after this big story about the producer for Disney having to fly out and talk to Rachel Zegler about how what she was doing and her actions are so detrimental to the film, well, now someone else is speaking out. Snow White producer's son confirms Rachel Zegler controversy, accuses Zegler of narcissism in epic social media takedown. The Rachel Zegler controversy just hit a new level, and this time, it's not an anonymous studio source speaking up. It's Jonah Platt, son of longtime Hollywood producer Mark Platt of Disney, publicly confirming his father personally flew to New York to confront Zegler over her now infamous Free Palestine post and defending the decision with brutal honesty. And I also want to make this clear. It's not because Rachel Zegler tweeted out Free Palestine or put something on Instagram that said Free Palestine. It's because she directly tied this to promoting the Snow White trailer. That's why this became an issue. That's why this was a thing, especially with everything that your co-star Gal Gadot was going through during that time period. That's why it was a fucking problem, not just because she has that political opinion. This confirmation arrives on the heels of a major Variety report detailing the internal chaos Zegler allegedly caused during the promotion of Snow White. Now, Jonah Platt, in a no-holds-bar Instagram reply, has confirmed the incident and laid out just how disruptive Zegler's actions were. Now, this comment was posted on something that had nothing to do with the Snow White stuff. It was just something on Instagram. Your dad flew to NYC to reprimand a young actress. Any words on this? Because that's creepy as hell and uncalled for. People have the right to free speech? No? Shame on your father. Jonah Platt says, you really want to do this because this was not about Snow White. This is about another post entirely. Yeah, my dad, the producer of enormous piece of Disney IP with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line, had to leave his family to fly across the country to reprimand his 20-year-old employee for dragging her personal politics into the middle of promoting a movie for which she signed a multi-million-dollar contract to get paid and do publicity for. This is called adult responsibility and accountability. And her actions clearly hurt the film's box office. Free speech doesn't mean you're allowed to say whatever you want in your private employment without repercussions. Tens of thousands of people worked on that film, and she hijacked the conversation for her own immature desires at the risk of all her colleagues and crew and blue-collar workers who depend on that movie to be successful. Narcissism is not something to be coddled or encouraged. Now, you can see how some people are reacting to things like this. Cosmic Marvel, who definitely 100% in the bag for Rachel Zegler. Just look at how they present this. Nepo baby and failed actor Jonah Platt responds to report that his dad traveled to New York to convince Rachel Zegler to delete her tweet. And there was a major pile-on over on Instagram from, Rachel Zegler fans. And let's be honest, the fans of Rachel Zegler out there, a lot of them who have pronouns in their bios, a lot of them out there who are fucking retarded in their own right, a lot of them out there who there can be very loud on social media. They somehow don't show up to the box offices, do they? They don't. West Side Story, complete and total flop. Shazam 2, complete and total flop. Hunger Games, Battle of Songbirds and Snakes may have broken even, possibly. But obviously, that was a massive step down from the previous entries in the franchise. And now Snow White's going to go on to lose somewhere between $200 and $300 million potentially. So where are you? All you Rachel Zegler fans out there, all you Rachel Zegler stans, why aren't you coming to the movies? Is it because you don't have jobs and don't have fucking money? You might have time to be activists on social media. Are you people with fucking pronouns and rainbow and trans flags in your bio? Man, it'd be interesting to see what would happen if you went over to this place that you claim to care so much about in the Middle East and see what happens to you there. Maybe not exactly what you're expecting, but this controversy is only getting started. It's only a matter of time before I think Rachel Zegler says something very specifically about this. There's no doubt that this is Disney trying to throw her under the bus. And I think Disney, we should not let them off the hook. They deserve a lot of the blame for their decisions. The casting of her, the promotion of her as diverse Snow White, the idea that you should change the message behind this classic fairy tale story, completely subvert it and put out this dog shit. Disney deserves a lot of blame. But Rachel Zegler, by far, has been the most controversial thing about this, and it's not even close. From all sides. Not just when it comes to the political angles, when it comes to what she said about the original Snow White, when it comes to her actions, everything about this woman is cancerous. And that's why we're seeing this result at the box office. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.